Buehler's going to be breaking balls in Beantown. Teo's going back to Tinseltown. Burnes is going to be burning up the desert. Buehler's going to break off breaking balls in Beantown. And belly bombs are coming to the Bronx. Ricky! Hey guys, welcome to the newest edition of Lad Talk. It's the final Lad Talk of 2024. Mason, it was a happy holiday for a lot of teams.
Yeah. Fun times. Great year, great season. Dodgers won it all. Don't forget.
I mean, so many things happened in the last couple of weeks. We can't cover them all, but we're going to cover what's important to us and what's important to Dodger fans.
Yeah.
First of all, Teoscar Hernandez is coming back.
So happy. We were thinking $25 million a year for about 3 years, so they were able to do kind of a more team-friendly deal, but still getting $66 million over the next 3 years. Not bad, Teo.
Not bad at all. Well-deserved payday for Teoscar Hernandez.
Definitely.
The fans wanted him back.
Yes.
And they got it done.
He wanted to be back, man. He cried during the whole parade. Rightly so. I mean, he bet on himself, turned down multi-year options, took the 1-year deal, won it all, wanted to be back.
And let's look at the details. Mm-hmm. He's got a $15 million club option for a 4th year that he could cash in on, so it could potentially be more than $66 million. Mm-hmm. He's also going to get a $23 million signing bonus.
Nice.
And $23 million in deferred money.
I mean, $23 million signing bonus, that's like the whole year's salary right there. Good for you. So, yeah, from what I read, they weren't happy. I don't want to say they weren't happy, but they weren't really in agreement on the amount of money, but also that he didn't want any deferrals. But, I mean, if you're going to sign with the Dodgers, you know it's going to be on the table. But this is very minimal, so it's kind of a win-win. I think it's a win-win.
The Dodgers have made quite a few moves so far this offseason, and I think they made a World Series team even better.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Blake Trinan return.
Have to bring him back.
Had to bring him back. Tommy Edman is back.
Oh, Tommy Tank's got to bring him back.
Teoscar's back in Tinseltown.
I mean, you got the core guys. You know, the one guy we'll talk about here in a minute, he's not coming back. But you know what? We got the core guys. I think if they're going to do anything else, get Roki Sasaki and clean up the bullpen a little bit, add a couple more pieces. And that's like, there's nothing else you can do or should do. It's a great looking team on paper. So hopefully it plays out that way again. 2025, back to back. Back to back.
They also brought in a new outfielder in Conforto.
Oh yeah.
And the big one, Blake Snell, joining this rotation. Huge.
I mean, you forgot about him. They've done like so much, and it doesn't seem like that because nobody's really talking about it that much. But getting Blake Snell with the rest of everybody in this lineup and getting Ohtani back, I said lineup, but I meant rotation, and then getting Ohtani back. It's great. I mean, I completely forgot about Blake Snell there for the first 5 minutes of this video.
Seems stacked.
Yeah.
Seems absolutely
stacked.
The
lineup 1 through 7, the lineup 1 through 9 is just incredible. It's going to be just hard to beat. And speaking of, we can kind of move into the next one if you're down. It's going to be hard to pitch against this team, but you know who's got a really good rotation now? They already did, but even better now.
Who's that?
The freaking Diamondbacks, man.
Whoa. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Corbin Burnes is headed to the desert. He's taking his
Baco boy
97-mile-an-hour cutters to the desert. And like you said, this rotation is stacked. Let's take a quick look at it. You've now got Corbin Burnes, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly.
That's a great 1, 2, 3. Jeez.
Eduardo Rodriguez, Jordan Montgomery. And as a sixth guy, a guy that you can mix in there, Brandon Pfaadt.
Yeah.
Who's been pretty solid for the D-backs.
I mean, he was great against us in the, for not just against us, but he was great in the postseason for the D-backs in 23 when they went all the way. Lost it, but made it.
Is this the best rotation in baseball?
Second best.
Who's the first?
Dodgers. Has to be.
I think you got to add one more starter to be in that conversation for the Dodgers. They've got a plethora of starters.
Yeah.
But you've got injury questions.
True.
You don't know what version of Kershaw you're going to have when he resigns.
Yeah, he's going to resign, but he's not going to be back till January. He just had 2 surgeries. So
not sure what we're going to get out of Gonsolin just yet. Gavin Stone's not going to be back this year. Who knows if Dustin May is ever going to pitch again.
He's probably going to be a bullpen piece. I don't think he's going to be somebody that can start a game. I think he's going to be somebody that goes all out, but for 1 inning. and that's it.
I like that.
I'm okay with that too. He's going to be somebody that can come in the 7th, 8th inning and just shut it down. But he's not going to be somebody that can go 5, 6 innings anymore, and that's okay. That's okay. He can still make a plethora of money just doing 1 inning in the bullpen. That's what he's made for. But I mean, you got who's your day one starter? Who's your opening day guy?
Ooh.
Although opening day is technically in Japan. Oh my God, it has to be Ohtani, but I don't think he's going to be ready by the time.
Not set to be ready by opening day.
You think it's going to be Yamamoto coming out of Japan?
I like the storyline there,
Yeah.
But you could also go with Glasnow. You could go with Snell.
Snell. I mean, okay. So who's your 1-2? Let's say it's mid-season. Let's say it's May. Let's say it's May. Hell, let's say it's June and Kershaw's back. Who's your number 1?
I want to say Snell, but
I think it's going to be Ohtani.
Ohtani's
your number 1. Ohtani's your number 1.
What were you
going
to I might
say?
have to take my stand back. I was going to say Glasnow. I was going to say Mr.
I
Glass.
forgot all about
Mr. Glass himself.
How are you going to say that this rotation is better than the Dodgers?
It's pretty freaking good.
Dude, you got Ohtani, then you got Snell, then you got Glasnow, then you got Yoshi coming in at your number 4, who they paid more than any other pitcher in history. And then Kershaw or Glasnow, or maybe they get Roki Sasaki. But I mean, on paper right now, my number 1 through 5, because we don't have that 6th guy in Sasaki yet, but 1 through 5 is Ohtani, number 1, Snell, then Glasnow, then Yoshi, then Kershaw / Gonsolin.
They've got the numbers, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They've got power in numbers.
Yes.
It's all about who's going to be on the field and who's going to execute.
Maybe I'm biased, and I think you're the opposite because you're a Dodger fan. I'm biased because I am a Dodger fan. I think you're saying the opposite because you're a Dodger fan and don't seem like you're playing favorites. Corbin Burnes is great. Does it make this rotation better than the Dodgers? I don't think so. I do not think so.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We'll see. Gallen's really, really freaking good, and so is Burnes. But you know what? He had the 1 Cy Young, and then he's been above average, but not Cy Young since. So we'll see. And don't get me wrong, he was fantastic for the Orioles. They wouldn't make it to the postseason without him potentially. They still couldn't score 1 run in the 2 games that they played. And he pitched he pitched what, 7, 8 innings of shutout baseball. Couldn't score 1 run to help him. They lost like 1 or 2 to nothing. It's pathetic.
Well, run scoring won't be an issue for the D-backs, so I think that played a big role in this. I think this solidifies that the National League West is, at this point, by far the best division in baseball.
Yeah, I would say by far.
I don't think there's a close second.
No, you know what? I think it's the AL West as the worst. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Other than the Astros, that's about it.
You can't forget about the NL East. They're pretty good in the NL East. You got the Braves, you got the Phillies, you got the Mets now.
Right. No, I agree. But I'm saying from we don't need to rank these. We could do a whole another video. But real quick, I think it's the AL West. Then I think it's the NL Central. Honestly, I think
the NL Central is worse than the AL West.
Okay, so
I would much rather face the Cubbies or
the Cardinals.
As opposed to facing the Rangers or the Astros in the playoff series.
Okay, so let's go NL Central, AL West. Because other than the Astros, that's about it. The Rangers were dog water. NL Central, AL West. Then I'm going to go AL Central, AL East.
NL East.
Then NL East. Then who? Who we forget? That's the 6th. And then the
top.
NL West.
The top. The NL West. By far
I think
the
that's
best
a great
division in
rank.
baseball.
Oh, 100%. Has to be. Because, you got the Dodgers are going to win it all again. The Padres, who are always going to be a bridesmaid, never a bride, because they're the Padres. And they're always going to be second place wild card team at best. Then you got the Diamondbacks who are making a run for it in their pitching. Still got hitters. But you know what? Giants are right in there trying to sign some peeps. Nobody wants to go there.
They're a couple moves away from being a wild card.
They really are. They're not far behind in the wild card because even this year, they made a solid push. Were they going to get there? No, but you're right. They just need a couple guys in the rotation, and then you need a couple bullpen pieces because they give up too many runs in the bullpen. And then you got the Rockies, who are just every division has that one. It's the White Sox, the Rockies, the Cardinals. Who else? Who is the Blue Jays or the Rays? Were in the East, as the worst, as the bottom pooper. So I mean,
I'd say the Blue Jays. The Rays at least compete.
Yeah.
They might have an off here and there, but they're always in the conversation.
Yeah, and then you got the Angels, who's on the bottom of every list, no matter what list you're talking about. Sucks. Sell the team, right? Already. So yeah, I mean, they're making a good push. Good for Burnes getting the money. Bakersfield bully, hometown kid. Good for you, man. Way to represent.
$20 million a year for the first 2 years, and then it'll be $25 million a year in each of the following 4 years. Wow. Deferred payments of $60 million begin in 2031. He's also got an opt-out after the first 2 years if he decides, you know what, this isn't the place for me. I want to go pitch somewhere else.
You know what? This is a great contract in both ways, because I think the team didn't have to spend the $300 million like I think a lot of teams were saying he could get to. So I mean, it's a pretty team-friendly deal, I would say, even though it's still $210 million. But I mean, you could pay closer to $260 if you needed to. So the fact that has the option to leave after the first 2 years if he thinks this isn't really where I wanted to be, it's great for him. That kind of sucks for the team, but at the same time, if they're playing good and they're making the playoffs, he's probably going to stay. Hey, no, I don't hear anybody complaining about deferred payments.
Nope.
Because only when apparently you get deferred payments with the Dodgers, quit complaining,
quit crying. He's also got a no trade clause, which we saw how that can affect things. Yeah. The Cardinals trying to trade Arenado to the Astros. Yes. He declined that trade. Yes. Smart man. Stupid team. So this is definitely a contract that favors Corbin Burnes. He's earned it.
I'd say so.
He's a true ace. There's aces aplenty in the NL West.
Yeah. And honestly, the Dodgers have... their top 3 guys could go to any team and be an ace. So they got 3 there, and I'm not just sugarcoating it. I mean, you got Ohtani, Glasnow, Snell. I think for a good, I could name probably 6 or 7 teams that Yoshi could be their number 1 guy too.
I agree with that.
So you got 4 guys in their rotation that could be number 1 almost any other team. You got Burnes and Gallen. Oh my God, that's a great one too. I mean, you can't not talk about the Dodgers 4, but that's a great one too. Also, then you got the Padres, who got Darvish, and honestly, they're talking about hearing offers on Cease, which is insane. But that's a great one too. So I mean, you've got aces everywhere out there.
Let's talk about some former Dodgers. World Series hero, World Series darling, Walker Buehler is going to Beantown.
Yeah, I wasn't super sad. I expected this.
I don't think anyone really expected him to be back in Dodger Blue.
I mean, that's the thing. And I don't want to say I was super sad because I hate to see him go because he did so much for us. He's part of Dodger history forever. We'll never not talk about him as the guy who you want to have the ball in the postseason because he was that guy. He earned it.
He's a dog.
He is. He's the guy. But at the same time, you didn't expect him to come back after 2 surgeries. I mean, there's no spot for him in the rotation anymore. It just sucks to say, but I think he's going to do great in Boston because he likes pitching in the cold, which is something I really never thought about until right this second. For some reason, you said Beantown. I thought it's going to be cold. He likes pitching in the cold. Look how he did in New York. He's going to do great for him. And I think he's going to fit in nicely in their, 3 spot? Who's their starters? I don't even know. I don't even know. So I know he's going to be their top 2, top 3 in the rotation. So even with 2 surgeries, he can still hit, mid-90s, 94, 95 consistently. He's not going to be that 99 guy, but he did hit 97 in the playoffs. Maybe that was the adrenaline, but you know what? He doesn't have a lot to prove. What is it, a 1 year...
He's got 1 year, just above $21 million. He's also got a mutual option with the Red Sox that could be worth $25 million. But there's a $3 million buyout attached to that if the team decides not to bring him back. It breaks down. He's got a $3 million signing bonus, $15 million base salary for 2025, and $500,000 for every 2 starts he makes from the 20th to the 28th appearance. So he's got a chance to make some real money if he throws some real money.
20th start through his 28th start. Okay. Wait, for every 2 starts. So if he goes 2021, that's 500. And then 22-23, that's another 500. Yeah, sign me up. Hurry up. Let's get to the 20th already.
Yeah. So they're really trying to incentivize him staying on the field and being healthy. So he's got a chance to make some real money here. Good for Walker. And we've got the rotation right here.
Hey, read the article, dude.
Don't forget they got Garrett Crochet. That's huge.
Oh my
That's
God,
huge.
I forgot all about that.
They've also got Tanner Houck, Lucas Giolito. So Buehler's going to fit in there really nicely.
Yeah, you know what? That really does help them. I think Boston could be a, for sure, contender, a wild card. They're not going to win that division with the Yankees doing everything they're doing, but I think they're a good third in the division. Definitely can win a wild card spot.
They're good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Okay. Average.
Very okay. You mentioned the Yankees. Let's talk about another former Dodger.
Boo.
We're going to see some belly bombs in the Bronx.
I like Belly. I wasn't booing him. I like Belly.
You weren't booing Belly?
I like Belly. I hate that he's going to New York, but you know what? Legacy, his dad played there, won a World Series in New York. Not that he's going to win one in New York with the Dodgers doing what they're doing, because we got the next 7-8 year window of just Dodgers winning everything.
That's a big window.
That's a big window. Mookie even said it when he accepted the, I don't know, what was it, the fan favorite of the year, player, whatever award that was. I asked him. So, I don't think so. It was some fan thing. It wasn't like an official MLB thing, I don't think. Who knows? Anyway, they asked him, so what could you tell the other teams, the other players? I think it was, what can you tell another player to get in the position that you're in? And he's like, you just gotta wait for the next 7-8 years, and then after we win it, then you can have it. What a stud. Love that. So back to Belly. Good for you, dude. Making some money. He's gonna rake in New York with that short porch.
I was saying it before he signed with Chicago. New York is the place for him. His dad played there.
His swing.
That swing. I mean, he's a former 40 home run guy, former MVP. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been the same since he dislocated his shoulder in 2020.
Shout out Kike.
Shout out Kike. Ooh. Ow, my arm. But, I mean, he's turned things around since going to Chicago. This is a guy who, if he gets things clicking, if he feels right in New York, he can hit 40 home runs pretty easily.
Pretty easily. I mean, the whole stadium is pretty short, but especially right field with his pull swing. He can hit it out anywhere in any park, but I mean, that short porch and right is just so enticing for his swing. So I think you could see a couple belly bombs up in the upper deck even. So go, dude. Juan Soto area. He's not going to replace Juan Soto, of course. You guys lost Soto by 1 year.
Stupid.
How terrible.
You're done.
How terrible can you get? But yeah, you know, he's a pretty good consolation prize, if you want to call it that. Belly, good for you. And they got Goldschmidt. We didn't really talk about that much.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah.
The Yankees are trying their darndest to replace Juan Soto. Of course, you can never replace a guy like Juan Soto, but
not worth $800 million.
No, I like them spreading it around, bringing in guys. What did they lack the most in the World Series, you think, offense-wise?
Oh, I was going to say the number one thing, defense. Their defense was terrible.
That's huge.
Their defense was terrible. With Belly, I mean, he's great in the outfield or at first base, wherever you're going to put him. But with Goldschmidt at first base, I mean, he's a former Gold Glover. I mean, he's great defensively. Better than Rizzo. So, I mean, number one thing, get better defense. And I think they're on the way to doing that. That was the number one thing. Obviously, offensively, they needed more consistent contact. They're doing nothing but trying to hit bombs, which that's what Belly does. So that wasn't really like, oh. But Goldschmidt is a contact guy. I think he had a below average couple years because he's playing in Cardinal Red, which you have no incentive to win because nobody else is trying to win on that team. So shout out Cardinals, stink. So Goldschmidt helps there. Bellinger's obviously, I think, going to get you more contact than Rizzo did this year. I don't like that they got rid of Gleyber Torres, though. I mean, he's your leadoff guy. He's somebody that came up and was your number one prospect at one point. Goes to Detroit on a 1-year deal. Detroit?
You're telling me you couldn't pay Detroit?
Yeah, that was a little weird when I read that. It was just like, hey, it came up. That was weird. It wasn't even like, hey, top story. It was just like hidden down there. So, I mean, What else? What else did they get?
But you hit the nail on the head
Yeah.
with what I was getting at. Contact.
Yeah.
Yankees did not put the ball in play enough in that World Series, and
Judge.
Goldschmidt's a guy that's going to put up a tough at bat. He's
Yeah.
going to put the ball in play. That's huge.
He's not going to strike out very easily. Does he strike out? Everybody does. But is he going to strike out as much as Judge did in the World Series? Nobody will. Nobody will.
Nobody knows. Well, but I mean, in the long run, Yankee fans are going to be much happier with the moves that they made as opposed to. I mean, what have the Mets done other than Soto?
Just Soto.
Zilch.
Just Soto.
Zilch.
And you know what? They have the highest payroll again, and they're going to for a long, long time. They're barely going to make. They're not going to win the division this next year. I'll give it to them this year, but they're not going to win it next year.
You think Phillies or Atlanta?
Wait, hold up. Time out. The Mets didn't even win the division in 24. It was the Phillies, didn't they? The Phillies won the division. The Mets are not going to win their division again for the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years because the Phillies are still going to be a solid team. The Mets are going to be competitive, but they're not a first place in their division team. Atlanta's going to come back. So I don't know. They barely made it to the postseason, and they spent $800 million on one guy. Not that great. Not the great offseason, in my opinion.
Spring training's right around the corner, but there's still a lot to be done.
Still a lot. I think a lot's going to be done. I mean, there's going to be moves, player here, player there, but I think there's going to be, a lot of pitchers and everybody else is waiting until Sasaki signs after January 15th. He'll have a window. I mean, he has a 45-day window, but he's going to make the most money if he signs between January 15th. But he has until the 23rd, or else he just goes back to his team in Japan. There you go. So we'll see.
We'll see. Guys, make sure if you like what we're doing here at Lad Talk, you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Plenty more coming your way from us on Lad Talk in 2025. Have a happy new year. As always, let's go Dodgers.
Adios.
Cool.